Hi, chat. How are you guys doing tonight? It's Thursday night, so it's time for the Thursday show. And we got the best hit boy in the world. Hi, Bubba. Hi, buddy. Hi. Anyways, guys, welcome to the show. Say, am I becoming an ear-girl Twitch streamer? I hope to God not. He's light! He's light, says the New Zealander Aussie weeaboo who films trains, chat. He showed off his collection of train film. You know, you call me a foamer. You call me a foamer. But that man right here, this man films trains. And he showed off his train film collection. So I'm just saying. Meme foamium is what we're dealing with now, chat. Meme foamium. Anyways, hello, guys. How is everybody doing? Welcome to the show. I am Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Tonight we got some serious stuff. We got some funny stuff, and we're gonna kind of get to everything tonight. We're gonna get to everything tonight. David says you always start streaming at my bedtime. Well, there you go. You can go to sleep with the dulcet tones of my voice. I'd make an amazing ear girl on Twitch. I would try. Kai turns around and steps on me like right in my throat. I'm like, ack. I'm like, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. Mwah. It's okay. I will never treat you like Jasper Kitty. Okay? I'm going to set you on the ground, Butta. Okay, Bubber Bear? Okay. Meme should license as stock footage. Yes, I see that. It's not a podcast, it's a dog cast, yes. Discord got an update in your honor. What did they do? I don't know. Hold on here. Clyde has to get his treat tax for he's got to get his appearance fees. Got to take care of him. So, yes, a foamer throwdown, yes. There are more railroads in Ohio than Japan, Sean. I'd hope so. We're a lot bigger than Japan. Does Ohio even exist? Yes. Yes. It's bedtime, boomers. Well, go ahead, run off and hide. Yes, because we youngsters do rule the night. All right, guys. So, yeah, welcome. We are live tonight on Kick. We're live tonight on Twitter, and we're live tonight on YouTube. And some of you guys are like, well, wait, yeah. So the stream last night with Ryan Mullally, we got a community guidelines warning because I made the comment about Trump. I still don't I really am worried that whatever Indian guy is going to read it is not going to understand the context of, Trump will be able to live his life peacefully so long as he pardons everybody, because nobody will be able to go after those he loves, and he'll be left alone, so then he can die quietly and peacefully in his bed. That was absolutely redonkulous last night, YouTube. How about you guys fix that? Don't let the SARS govern it. Quit using your H1Bs. No, I did not make fun of the poop festival at all. Oh, it has no mountains, only corn, yes. Let's see. What did I miss? Right here? Entered State says, I was watching Tim Pool and I felt so black-pilled. He always thinks we're close to a civil war. Seems like he only wants to talk about that. I mean, well, are we closer now than we were before? Yes. But that's part of, I think Tim, it's not just a grift for him. I think he truly believes it. But also for him, it's part of a grift. If Tim Pool comes out and says, oh, it's actually all good, everything's better, it's kind of like MSNBC after a while, after Trump's out of office. The Trump bump is gone. And then what happened after Trump won? They all got fired and laid off. So, despair sells. Glenn Beck's a great example of that. And I said it before. Glenn Beck in, 2008, 2009, 2010 time, it was some super ominous shit on his radio show and like his TV show, man. It was like, we are on the fucking brink. And then very quickly after that, he turned into, oh, it's all okay. And, we use love. And guess what happened? Everybody, his viewers went like this to the ground. So, part of it's selling, part of it is just, that's how Tim is. And yeah, that's so, just don't doom. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that, the waves are whipping up out there, but it's not insurmountable. It's not insurmountable. If there was no hope, they wouldn't use the propaganda they use on us. They wouldn't be trying so hard to demoralize you. The fact they're doing that shows you they are desperate to win. Yes, Nate posted on Twitter a few hours ago. Yes, guys. Yes, Nate got through his surgery, got through it. We talked about it last night. So happy to hear that. It's good news. It's really good news. Nate was going back under for some more work, it sounds like. And that makes sense. When they have to do all that kind of work on you, there's not just one surgery. There will be more. But it sounds like, obviously that was the hardest one. But still, guys, anytime you have to go under the knife is always a risk. And especially when they're rooting around upstairs. So keep Nate in your thoughts and prayers. And if you don't pray, please, positive thoughts for him and his family. I know they would appreciate it. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. JJ said the Crypto Zoo lawsuit got refiled. Yes, the lawsuit against Logan Paul. We'll get to that because that is actually kind of funny that they're refiling it, but they added some more stuff into it. So Tim Pool got Blair White pregnant. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. What happened to my stream for last night? The AI took it down because they thought I was wishing death on President Trump. When clearly I wasn't, but nuance is lost on the AI, and I'm sure the Indian guys in charge are gonna not understand nuance either, and they're gonna go, "Sir, I don't understand, sir." And then, yeah. So we'll see, But for right now, I appealed it. It's probably gone, but you could find it on Twitter. You could find it on Kick. So. Yeah, doomerism does sell. It does, but I don't do it. Graham says the Texas redistricting case. Yes. The problem is that is a very fire dissent, and it's like 200 pages long. So we're going to have to go over that. I don't know. Maybe this weekend might be the goal. Because it's a lot there to do. But yes, that is interesting. Yes, guys. The Texas redistricting map, too long didn't read, is the Texas GOP redistricting that was shot down by a federal court. So we'll see where that's at. And there's a fiery dissent in that case. Let me see here. Yes, I'm not going to do the needful. I will not do the needful. They did take it down on Ryan's channel. I know. That's, you know what? That means Ryan's really a plant. Whose side are you on, Ryan? Whose side are you on, sir? I don't know. It's very convenient. Very, very convenient. When am I going to read the Leonard F. Shaner transcripts? I don't know. I need to, I looked up his farms thread. I started reading about him. I haven't gotten that far into it. Oh my God, that guy is so hilarious. The Fomer lolcow. But yes, it is out there. Was the stream taken down? Yes. On my side, yes. Ryan is a Chloe. Yeah. The chats are also back in retard mode again. So it's a little weird. Yeah, he's a foam cow. All right, well. But yes, Graham, thank you for the super chat, by the way. I appreciate it. We will get to that, but that is it is a scathing dissent in there. And we'll take a look at it. What did you, and guys, also forgot to mention we are live over on Locals, guys. Remember, potentiallycriminal.locals.com. You could join us over there. Use a promo code FALL2025. You get access to the Monday night show, and then also the Thursday show. So right after this one, we go hang out on Locals, do whatever you want to do over there. And it is for those who support. It's $3 a month. You pay for 10 months to get 2 months free. If you guys can't do it or don't want to do it, you can still sign up for free and be part of the community. You can post on the wall. I post there. If, happens to be like a night and the casino's going, we may watch them over there. Mr. Medicare goes live. We'll stream snipe them there. We watch Formula One over there. We do all kinds of stuff. And I think Formula One this weekend is, I think F1 is out this weekend. Let me see here. Yes, the Las Vegas Grand Prix at 11 p.m. Saturday night. We will be doing it. Yes, we also watch pig racing. We do all kinds of fun stuff there. And then KJ's been a member for 21 months. Says it's too long. He has no stamina. Yes. Let's see here. Let's see. They're doing quality in a little bit. Yes, they are. F1 is the pig racing, chat. No, we watch the actual pig racing, the League of Pigs stuff. It's a lot of fun. Is there any room for gay furry porn? No. Sorry. No, but we go over all kinds of guys stuff like, my shitty throwdown pistol, my Jimenez. We went through that. I kind of showed off the Garand that I got. Earlier, I think probably a week or two ago, we went over the Set Me Parts kit I got a hold of and what we're going to do with that. So it should be a lot of fun. So, yes, it is a sprint weekend. Yes, I don't like those, but hey, they do it. January 6th 2.0 says for $5. Do I have any inside knowledge of what happened? No. I mean, Nick showed up. Kurt says, Kurt's made it clear he doesn't want to fucking hang around Nick, and Kurt's like, and peaced out. Like that's all it was. That's all I know. Obviously Nick has to sit out there and act like, it was all about him, but no, like Kurt left, and Nick cringed out the stream and cringed out the charity work, and then Nick left and then went and cried with Camelot. I don't know. I mean, like, that's basically what happened. So there you go. He wasn't kicked as far as I know, and I don't think Runkle would do that. Runkle and Kurt get along very well. So like I said, I do nothing funny business like that. No funny business like that. Oh, hold on one second, chat. Guys, as far as I know, it was Kurt's choice. It's Kurt's choice to leave. Kurt said that. Runkle's never said anything contrary. It was Kurt's choice to leave. And I don't blame him for, Kurt wanted to do that. Acceptable conduct. Didn't make a scene. Just said, I'm out. There's not another way to do that. So. So yeah, I mean, that's really it. I know people are looking for like some sort of like scandal or whatever, but no. Nick showed up and Kurt's like, peace. The simplest answer is usually the likely and most likely correct answer. So. Chiseco says, Runkle's covering a wild case at the moment. I don't know what he's covering here, but I come first. Well, thank you. You grabbed a Harbor Freight pistol light, the TLR ones. Yeah, guys, I still need to do the stream on that. But when you break these lights down, they look identical. And the only advantage the Harbor Freight lights have are that they're all LED. So they don't get hot when you leave them on. The stream light gets really hot if you're not paying attention. So, but overall, like I've used them at night so far, and shining around. They're both very, very powerful. They're both very, very powerful. So let's go, guys. It is time. Tell us about the JQ. What can I tell you? We don't have enough stream time. YouTube will cut us off. All right. So let's move on to the first thing here. And this is we're not sure if this is a black pill or not, or what this is all about here. But the Georgia case involving Donald Trump is still alive. It's still alive for now. Like I said, we don't know what this means. But remember the Trump RICO case? It's a case Fani Willis has put up against Donald Trump and 19 other people. It's the one where Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, Kenneth Chesbrough, and a couple others have already pled out to various felonies that they basically got diversion for. Well, this case is the one that also got challenged. And Ashley Merchant did her job, and we went through all those hearings where it turns out Fani Willis is paying off her boyfriend, Nathan Wade, with all the money that was misappropriated for this, probably to the tune of $1 million, which she then went on vacations that he paid for with that money. So you're like, that sounds like a kickback, and you'd be right. So that case went on. Judge Scott McAfee determined there was an odor of mendacity and gave Fani two options. Her office can be recused, or Nathan Wade has to go. And, being the proud black woman she was, she couldn't take no for an answer. So she appealed that. And the Court of Appeals actually said, no, you both have to leave. That's it. And then Fani Willis tried to appeal to the Georgia Supreme Court, and the Georgia Supreme Court's like, we ain't taking this. The lower court ruling stands. So now Fani's out, Nathan Wade is out, and the case is up in the air. The case was then punted to the Georgia Prosecuting Attorneys Council. And that was where basically it's a governmental body that kind of helps coordinate and work with the different district attorneys and prosecuting attorneys throughout the state. And they were trying to find one who could take it by November 14th. That was the deadline. If it wasn't done by then, the judge was going to dismiss the case. And we talked about this last week. The idea that anybody they wanted to talk about it with didn't want to deal with it. And the people who actually did want to deal with it were fucking scumbags in their own right. And they said, those people have their own skeletons. So anybody who really wants Trump's scalp, is gonna rake themselves along the way. And that's where we are with this now. So on the 14th, as of the 13th, nothing had happened. We got to the 14th, and something happened. And we have this that came out. And this is an administrative order. And what does it say here? So this is from the Prosecuting Attorneys Council. And it says, under the authority contained in the Georgia statutes, Peter Skandalakis. Well, I'm like, that is such a non-Southern name. You got the Greek planter class running around Georgia. That's really, the Greek planter class. They're part of the aristocracy. He's the executive director of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council, the PAC of Georgia, or his designee, is hereby appointed to act as district attorney pro tempore, is temporary here, filling in for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit to prosecute in the name of the state for the time period beginning from investigation, arrest, or grand jury proceedings, whichever comes first, until all appeals are exhausted in the following case to wit: the state of Georgia versus Donald Trump et al. And it says, pursuant to state law, they shall receive no additional compensation for such services, except actual expenses shall be reimbursed by Fulton County at the same rates as approved for district attorneys under state law. This was filed on Friday, November 14th, 2025, and it's done by the executive director of the PAC. So what does that mean? Well, the case is not dead yet. It's still alive. It's still alive. We don't know where this is going to go. Is this guy just taking over for it and then he's going to kill it? That's one option. Is he going to prosecute it and be a rhino? That's another option. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. I've seen some commentary out there. We actually don't know at this point what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. So for right now, it's all up in the air. It's all up in the air. So it's still in life support. The case is still in life support. It's a very, from what we understand, the people always involved in this, who were consulted, were like, no way in hell will they take the case because it's a disaster zone. At this point, I can only imagine, because remember, we watched Fannie and her team, and we learned about a lot of these attorneys, not only in this case, but these were the same people that were popping up in the YSL trial. Some of these people are awful fucking people who have been officially reprimanded for misconduct in trials and done horrible things as a prosecutor. So we don't know. I can only imagine this case is a dumpster fire. And J-Rock is saying, Pete was always a dumb one. Well, I appreciate that, J-Rock, being down that way. I appreciate your input on that. So we don't know. We don't know. Time will tell. Yes, Adam Abadi, cough, cough. Yep. Amongst those other ones, Simone Hilton, ADA Love, all kinds of scumbags are out there, along with Fannie Willis. So for now, yet she and her team were reelected. I mean, she's a Democrat in a Democrat town, man. Like, let's not act like... You can't act like you're surprised. She's a black Democrat in a town full of black Democrats. Like, were you expecting them to all of a sudden go like, nah, we don't want this no more? Like, come on now. Come on now. Who's being naive, Kay? So we will see. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll find out. I don't think this guy's got, from what I understand, the Prosecuting Attorneys Council does not have the kind of heavy equipment and, skilled people available to prosecute this. So even if it goes forward, it will surely flounder. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Oh, let's see here. All right. Now, on to other Trump-related things here. There's a couple of Trump-related things that we kind of wanted to hit on. Where did that go? Okay. Moving on to something out of the 7th Circuit, guys. Remember, we deal with the judge who was demanding Trump do, basically, the ICE group would have to come in every day and interview with her and sit down and talk about the case. Talk about what's going on. Well, ultimately, that got shot down. But this judge put in all kinds of onerous requirements on ICE and the Department of Homeland Security and how they were conducting crowd control, whether or not how they were using tear gas, if reporters were getting caught into it. A lot of things were happening there. And now we're dealing with the rest of the orders in that case. And the 7th Circuit released an opinion today. And guys, just be careful. This is not time to dab. They're going to make it clear things here. Now, this is out of the 7th Circuit, the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. And you're seeing now the opinion. And the opinion is, 3-judge panel like everywhere else. So it's for the 7th Circuit. And you'll see this guy here, Frank Easterbrook. He is kind of like he's kind of like the big swinging dick in the Seventh Circuit. If you're in law school, he has authored a lot of very famous opinions, a lot of opinions that are widely used and cited. He's a pretty big dude. He's pretty big time. He's pretty big time. So he's in on this. And this is the case of Chicago Headline Club. Remember, it's a bunch of reporters suing Kristi Noem in the Department of Homeland Security. And they talk about, so they made an order, and the order came out yesterday. So it said on November 6th, the district court issued order of preliminary injunction forbidding defendants from using certain crowd control techniques and imposing requirements. And the defendants sought a stay pending appeal, and the plaintiffs opposed. And they point out a stay is appropriate if you demonstrate a likelihood of success on the merits in irreparable injury. So what do they say? Defendants are likely to succeed on the merits. The preliminary injunction is overbroad. In no uncertain terms, the district court enjoins an expansive range of defendants, including the President of the United States, the entire Departments of Homeland Security, the entire Department of Justice, and anyone acting in concert with them. Yeah, that's a massive part of the federal government. And the practical effect is to enjoin all law enforcement officers within the executive branch. Further, the order requires the enjoined parties to submit for judicial review all current and future internal guidance, policies, and directives. And it's, and a mandate that impermissibly infringes on the principles of separation of powers on this record. Which you would think that's obvious, but remember, we're dealing with a judge who's not American. We're dealing with some, an immigrant judge. I don't like this. This is a big problem when you have non-natural, non-native born, U.S. citizens sitting on the bench. We already have this problem with the U.S. born citizen judges. Then we have judges like this lady from Canada just fucking around on things, clearly violating the separation of powers. And yet she did it anyway. And it says, finally, the order's too prescriptive. It's too prescriptive. For example, it enumerates and prescribes the use of scores of riot control weapons and other devices in a way that resembles a federal regulation. Yeah. It's one thing for a court to make a ruling, but to be so specific on it, it's a little ridiculous. They also point out we also have reservations about Article 3 standing. Open questions remain whether the plaintiffs have shown the past harm they face is likely to imminently happen in the future. A fear such harm will reoccur is insufficient on its own. And we are aware of public reporting suggesting that enhanced immigration enforcement may have lessened or ceased, which could affect both the justiciability of this case and the propriety of injunctive relief. So you don't know. It's very speculative. It's a problem. Additionally, the defendants face irreparable harm. Anytime the government's adjoined from effectuating the statutes enacted, it suffers from a form of irreparable injury. They cite Noem versus Vasquez Perdomo, but also the Casa case. And the balance of equities did not counsel against awarding defendants interim relief, especially given the overbreadth of the injunction. But this is a big thing here, chat. This is a big caveat to everything here. Do not overread today's order. Our concerns about the substantial overbreadth of the injunction lead us to stay at pending appeal, which we will expedite. So they're not done. We have to look at more. But we have not concluded that preliminary relief is precluded. Acting on a very compressed timeline, the district court developed voluminous and robust factual findings. So they're saying that while the district court fucked around, we actually have a lot to work with now. Those findings may support entry of a more tailored and appropriate preliminary injunction that directly addresses the First and Fourth Amendment claims raised by these plaintiffs. So it's not over yet. Therefore, they stay the preliminary injunction issued by the district court, and an expedited briefing and oral argument date will be set by separate order. So we got more to cover here, Chad. It is not over yet. No, it was not tangy. It was not tangy. It was just robust urban garlic flavor. Yes, it was the robust urban garlic flavor. So, job well done, says the star is missing a point. Har, 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 har. Har, 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 har. Guys are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Some days, chat. Some days. You're curious if it's over yet. No, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. So I look forward to this. I look forward to the 7 Circuit's oral arguments on this. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. In another case, this one's kind of tangentially related because it involves Trump, but this goes to the National Guard being deployed in Washington, D.C. And you're like, wait, there was a lawsuit against that? Yes, there was. But there were no injunctions in that one. Like we saw in other places. But it's the District of Columbia versus Donald John Trump. And it's in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. And this came out today. Chat. It is a certified hood single. This is, we're not going to go through all of this. But the court does point out that, since August 11th, 2,000 members of the National Guard have been deployed to D.C. And while they've been there, they've provided support to local and federal law enforcement agencies. And remember, it's federal territory in D.C., so they can go run around and do whatever they want. They could patrol the National Mall, they could be in the metro stations, and walk around the neighborhoods. And the guards are part of the Joint Task Force of District of Columbia, which oversee units from D.C.'s own National Guard, which they have their own, and other states, including South Carolina, West Virginia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, Ohio, that's right, Georgia, Alabama, and South Dakota. And they are expected to remain through February 28, 2026. So what had happened? Well, the D.C. city government filed a lawsuit. They're claiming violations of the APA, the Emergency Management Assistance Compact, the District of Columbia's Home Rule Act, Posse Comitatus, which is not going to work, and the Constitution. So ultimately, as this goes here, this was filed, and ultimately, the court grants the motion for preliminary relief and partially denies the motion to dismiss. So what happens here? Well, it's saying that the district's exercise of sovereign powers within its jurisdiction is harmed by Trump deploying the National Guard. And it claims that he lacks authority to support these units being called in. So what happens? Well, technically, he can't call in the Guard anymore. But here's the court. Here's some wiggle room by this court. The public interest weighs in favor of an administrative stay. And the stay is needed to permit orderly proceedings on appeal. So the court will stay its order for 21 days until December 11th, 2025, which, why don't they just admit, they're scared of getting their ass whooped? This judge knows I'm being an asshole and I'm going to get shot down. Well, that's where we are. That's where we are with this. So, in other good news, this one's going to get heard. I'm sure the D.C. Circuit will be backing, even though it's going to be a liberal circuit, they're probably going to back Trump on this one. I think they will. So, I'm making pentagrams on legal docs. Yeah. Nick McKay told me I could deploy the National Guard. Yes. Stabby saying, don't expect the 7th Circuit to make the right decision. Well, yeah, I understand that. I understand that. But we do have this one here, so have some hope. Have some hope. Because remember, guys, the entire Trump administration is about challenging the limits of Article 2, and I told you that was going to happen, and look where we are. Nico Lai says, it do be like that, Mr. Martin. Yes. Guys, keep in mind, the Will Stancil Show is on to episode number 4 already. Good watching out there. Cat, but not Cat Williams. Cat, how you doing? Says, Sean does the best summaries. I try. Thank you. And J-Rock Law, going back to the Trump Georgia case, is saying the only reason why the Prosecuting Attorneys Council got involved is because not a single DA would take it on. And I agree, that's correct. They couldn't find anybody. The people who were competent didn't understand it. And the people who wanted to do it were all sketchy as hell. And the bigger thing in Georgia is they have 159 counties. So out of 159 people, they asked, and either the people they wanted to said no, or the people who were volunteering were not trustworthy enough. Like, that's not a good sign. That is a really bad sign. So there you go. Yes, and Georgia has a ton of counties. Yes, not as many as Texas, but yes, has a ton of them. So only married DAs can. What? Yeah, self-state governments? What are we guys talking about here? What the hell's going on? Oh, you guys are just being ridiculous. Roscoe says, Mr. Martin, we meet again. Yeah, how you doing, man? How you doing? Yes, I did get to check up on Robert L. McKim losing his benefits. That was pretty funny. So, Katie says, Maine has a song to remember the 16 counties. That's not that many, but oof, that's a small amount. That's a small amount of counties. All right, guys. Now, moving on from there, more kind of federal stuff that's going on. This should make you feel better if you want some white pills. If you want some white pills that are out there, if you want some white pills, this is some good stuff here. You want to see some Antifa suffering? I got some Antifa suffering. See, just say it now with me, chat. Suffer, Antifa. There is a Portland Antifa member who's facing 20 years of prison after he pled out to trying to burn down the front gate. And the person charged is Trenton Edward Barker. He's and this is from Andy Knows reporting stuff here, guys. And Andy Know, follow him along on Twitter. Good source of news and information. This guy is a violent trans non-binary Antifa member. You're like, that's about what I figure, a lot of these Antifa people are. So there you go. Look at him there, chat. And you can see by this, actually, yeah, you can see that. You can see by what's going on there. This all started on June 11th. June 11th. So what happened? Well, he pled guilty to arson of a federal building, a felony. And what did he do? Well, they were putting barricades out. Or this is him. Oh, yeah. This is the scariest communist revolutionary ever, guys. But he was out with their little black bloc party, and they showed up to the Portland ICE building, which we've watched many a time, and you've seen many a time. And I do think this part is nonsense, though. They set the debris on fire while the federal agents were blocked inside the building. Okay, it's not like he went up to the front door and like they were barricaded in a phone booth. This is actually the back side. If you guys have never seen the Portland ICE facility from the backside, but this is what it looks like from behind the gate. So out here is the street where everybody's at, and outside this gate is where they have, like, everybody does their tar jousting. And when the cops come out and grab people, That's this is the inside of that area. That is the inside of that area. So if you're wondering what that looked like, here you go. Isn't it kind of neat if you've never seen this view? You're like, oh wow. But anyways, the gate was there and they lit a fire against it. So the idea that the federal agents were trapped inside, I'm like, if they wanted to leave, I'm sure they could knock the gate down other ways. But he made it sound like they're stuck in a car and they're lighting it on fire. I think it's a little overly dramatic. Just say what they did. So anyways, he's a militant BLM activist. He's all about being in, Antifa and all of that. Well, he ended up pleading out, and once again, join us in the Suffer commies. Suffer. Because here we go. Like, ooh, what is this? This is a plea form. It's a plea agreement. From the DOJ for the U.S. Attorney's Office, the District of Oregon. And it's to the Assistant Federal Public Defenders. And it's a case with Trent and Edward Barker. So what is he doing? Well, they're talking about the plea agreement here. He's pleading guilty to count one of the information, which is the crime of arson of a federal building, violation of 18 United States Code 844 F1. Oh, it's like we have F1 this weekend. The mandatory minimum sentence for this charge. So, guys, mandatory minimum is 5 years of imprisonment. Mandatory minimum. He goes to prison minimum of 5 years. The maximum sentence is 20 years of imprisonment and a fine of $250,000. Anyways, so they're agreeing we aren't going to bring additional charges arising out of this investigation. But if there's other investigations, that could be there, or if he gets indicted in another district. Not our call. So in order to be found guilty, the government must prove the following elements: that he maliciously damaged or destroyed or attempted to damage or destroy by means of fire, explosive, with a road flare, any building, vehicle, or the real or personal property that was owned or possessed by the United States. This, once again, guys, this is something that he has to sign here, and he points out that he's discussed the facts of this case. And then he defenses with his counsel. The defendant has committed each of these elements to which he's pleading guilty and admits there's a factual basis for the plea. He also agrees the following are true and could have been proven beyond a reasonable doubt: that he attended the protest on June 11, 2025. On that date, the building was leased by the General Services Administration, an agency of the United States. At about 9:45 on June 11th, individuals in the crowd began to move large objects and debris against the metal gate. Shortly thereafter, he retrieved a flare from his backpack, ignited it, and threw it onto the pile of debris. The flare acted as a heat source and ignited the debris. The federal officials tried to knock out the flame. After 3 minutes, they were able to put the fire out. He damaged the ICE building, specifically the metal gate. And he knew the property belonged to the U.S. government, and he had no lawful authority to damage it. So what is he asking for here? Well, the parties agree a pre-sentence report will be prepared and will not be waived. This is where you talk about all the points and everything that's involved. Remember, we talked about it with Diddy's case. The higher up the chart you are is the better, and the farther left you are is better. But there are ways you can increase your points, which can lead to a more thorough and more problematic sentence for you. He's going to have to demonstrate that he fully accepts and admits responsibility. If he does so, they'll recommend a 3-level reduction in his offense. They reserve the right to change his recommendation if the defendant commits any crime, obstructs or attempts to obstruct justice, as explained in the sentencing guidelines, or acts inconsistently with acceptance of responsibility, as explained. So if he decides to start acting like an asshole again, they could fuck him over and make him suffer a harsher result. So it's on him just to sit there and lick the boots of the fascist government that he so hates. Is this a plea from the Congresswoman? No. We're not there yet. No, we're going to get to that, T from Laos. So, Joseph has lawful authority to damage. Well, I have lawful authority to damage my own property. I could light my house on fire. I have lawful authority to do that. You don't. I have permission to destroy my own property. If you want to know the truth about it. So it keeps on going here. Early resolution. If he agrees to resolve his case prior to the expiration of the plea agreement and waive indictment, the government will do another 3-level downward variance and the low end of the sentencing range. The parties stipulate the base offense is 24. The parties stipulate to the following, though. His base offense level is 24. His accepted responsibility is a -3. It gives him 21. So they point out that he doesn't get the special adjustments for being a 0-point offender. If he agrees to resolve his case, it demonstrates a responsibility with that. The government will recommend a within guideline sentence to be followed by 3 years of supervised release and a $100 assessment. Now, what does all this mean for him? Well, the sentencing guidelines chart, we've talked about this before, but we'll show it again, you guys. It is no joke. It is no joke, you guys. If you've never seen this before, this is where we're at here. This is the federal sentencing guidelines. This is the federal sentencing table. This is what you use to sentence someone. Keopathy says the state of Oregon should charge him with not having a burn permit. Yeah, it'd be hilarious if they did. But they won't do it. Sadly, they won't do it. But what happens here? Well, this here is a sentencing table the federal government uses. And it starts off up here with your criminal history categories. I don't know what his criminal history is. Hopefully it's a 1 or a 2. I'm assuming it's a 1, though. And then it talks about the offense level. Remember, we saw the offense level. Base level is 24. So what's he looking at? 51 to 63 months. Remember, the mandatory minimum is 5 years. So we're already at 60. So maybe he gets 63. And then if they lower it down to 21, well, he is at a level of 21, but he's also got the mandatory minimum of 60. So you've got some issues there. The court can't sentence outside of the mandatory minimums. Does that mean he's 100% going to prison? Yes. He's 100% having to go to prison. There's a mandatory minimum sentence. He has to go to prison. If the judge doesn't send him to prison, the DOJ could appeal the sentence to say, Your Honor, the trial judge broke the law. It said mandatory minimum sentence. He has to have the mandatory minimum. Now, the judge could sentence him to 5 years and say, fine, done. But yeah, there we go. That's where he's stuck at right now. He's stuck with that. So they also point out that the U.S. Attorney's Office agrees not to seek any upward departures, adjustments, or variances to the advisory sentence range or to seek a sentence in excess of that range. The defendant reserves the right to seek any downward departures, adjustments, or variances. Now, it's going to sound counterintuitive when they say this, but looking at this chat, these are the ranges, and there's guideline ranges. The judge could deviate. He could deviate downwards, or you're like, but wait, it's going down. It's going down in time duration. Or he could deviate upwards, and he can give you a worse sentence depending on what he wants to do. Can they give him a suspended sentence? No, it's a mandatory prison sentence. It's a mandatory prison sentence. I don't see how the court could do that. Maddie says, forgot to change my picture, Sean. What do you think? Oh, that's a great picture. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, chat. Look at that picture. Look at that. True and accurate. True and accurate. That's all I can say. That's all I can say here. So what happens here? Will the defendant knowingly and voluntarily waives the right to appeal any aspect of the conviction and sentence, except for the claim the sentence imposed exceeds the maximums, or the court arrives at an advisory sentence by applying an upward departure under the provisions here? So if he gets nuked, he has the right to appeal, or if the court does something wrong, he gets to appeal his sentence. Remember that when you enter a plea, you're generally limited to your sentencing only. He waives the right to file any collateral attacks like motions for a new trial, habeas, or other things like that are going to be out there. If his conviction ever gets vacated, this agreement's vacated, they may reinstate or file other charges. And the court is not bound by the recommendations of the parties or the pre-sentence report. The defendant may not withdraw any guilty plea or rescind the plea if the court doesn't follow the agreements or recommendations of the parties. Sometimes you can. We saw in Minnesota that can happen at times. Not every state allows that. And this is one of those times the feds don't allow. But the feds have unique situations where the court can be bound. The feds also have unique situations where you can withdraw still. Those are very rare. Those are not easy to get. They say restitution. He agrees to restitution, to pay back the government, to put new paint on the gate. They, as part of this, they authorized the attorney's office to get a credit report. So they're going to get a credit. They're going to run a credit report on this guy's ass. He agrees to notify the financial litigation unit before he transfers any interest in property exceeding $1,000, because that's how they're going to get restitution, is by forcibly grabbing all that. And notice, this is unique to the DOJ. Your local state agencies don't have this kind of power. You don't have this local kind of power here. So the court can order restitution if it wants to. And notice, this is all part of it. Yeah, we're not going to worry about all that. If he breaches the terms of the agreement, the U.S. attorneys are relieved of its obligations. They can do whatever they want. If they believe he's done this and he's breached it, well, they have the right to raise that claim. This is no promises, agreements, or conditions other than those set forth here will be effective unless memorialized in writing and signed by all parties listed below. That is also a very common thing. And the deadline was October 24, 2025 by the U.S. attorney and the assistant U.S. attorney for the area. And what do we see here? Well, on the 23rd, he signs it. He says, I've reviewed every part of this with my attorney. I understand and voluntarily agree to the terms. So he signs. And then his attorney signs saying, I represent his legal counsel. I've carefully reviewed it. He says, to my knowledge, the decisions to make this agreement and to plead guilty are informed and voluntary ones, signed by the attorney. So there you go. Looking up to 20 years. I hope he enjoys every fucking minute of it. Suffer, commie. Suffer. The feds are going to find out he owns 150 oversized sex toys. Yeah. That's probably what's going to happen there. It's probably what's going to happen there. Justin Hancock says, hail, Sean. Hail, chat. Well, good to see you, Justin. Another one. Getting 5 subs. Let's fucking go tonight, chat. Big support. Thank you. Gets us in our woo. It gets us in our woo. And then Adam A 7752 or Adama, I'm not sure how we want to do that now, says to another, what the fuck? Thank you. Yes, guys. Another, thank you for your support and your generosity. Truly appreciated. Truly appreciated. Yes, it's going to be all those bad dragons. Yep. No, is that his National Guild lawyer? No, that's somebody who probably works in the public defender's office for the federal public defender. So there you go. It's Adam A. The names are all broken again. That's what I thought, but you just never know. You just never know. And then Justice Smith, who's been a member for 25 months. It's a long freaking time, guys. Long freaking time. Thank you for being here. It says, no more grays. That's right. No more grays. No more grays. Pray the gray away, chat. Pray the gray away. Do your part and pray the gray away. Make America green again, chat. That's right. I mean, the hat says it all, guys. The hat says it all. Make America green again. Absolutely make America green again. Truly, truly what we need to do. It is exactly what's going on. Exactly what's going on. State says assimilate the grays. That's right. Absorb them. The Maddie B says CLYDE. Yes. The only tower you can build by yourself, chat, is a Clyde tower. Thank you for that tower. Thank you for that tower. That's like a half of Sean's thumb. Well, no, it fits on my head, but it's like, you know, when you put this shit in the way, it kind of like flattens out. But it can fit on my head. I think I just have to open it up all the way. I think it fits. Hold on. Let's see. I mean, yes, I do have a monster skull, and I know I got a lot of hair. We get the haircut tomorrow, chat. Tomorrow morning at like 11:30, I think. And it's funny because I actually showed up out there on Wednesday. I was like, I'm here for my haircut. And they're like, no, it's Friday. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll move along. But anyways, chat, make America green again. And that's the only thing I don't like with some hats. Like, that's why trucker hats are good, because it like kind of brings the front forward more. But anyways, it makes me look weird. It's all coming out the back now, the hair. Make America green again, chat. Say, need a big hat. Need a big hat for the big head. Okay. Stacy says I had a giant head. My poor mother. It's like Stewie said on Family Guy. You know, either I was a C-section or you were Wonder Woman. Or my head just wasn't as big back then. I think that's probably more of the answer ultimately. Debbie O says Jim Jordan announced that they've been spying on his phone since January 2020. Big mad about this. How possible is it likely really that the phone contents weren't broadly shared around the government outside the Frost investigation? Oh, I guarantee you that was shared around. I guarantee you a lot more people involved in that knew about it. We're going to find out this Arctic Frost thing is going to be like, it's going to make Watergate look like Disneyland. And hopefully some people go to fucking prison for it. Hopefully they do. But yeah, it's not a surprise. Like, think about it with the Biden administration, the way these people are acting, these commies, these rat fucks are acting. Of course that shit went everywhere. I'm sure. It sounds like they were smart enough not to leak it to the press. But I'm sure they listened in on all these people, and a lot of people who weren't cleared to know about it knew about it. So, 100%. EDW Raptor says, are you wearing a suspender shirt? Can we get a snap? I'm not wearing suspenders right now, so like, sorry. No snap. Am I wearing a suspenders shirt? I wear suspenders with every shirt. So, no. Sorry. And then Mikey with 10 subs. Let's fucking go, chat. Let's go. Big support tonight. Guys, when you do memberships, that's what you're doing to the Grays. And remember, guys, with the memberships, get access to all the emojis. And we need to do another members only here coming up, guys. We'll do that. Got to figure out what we're going to do here, but I'll promise to get you one. Well, actually, should I say by Thanksgiving? Yes, by Thanksgiving, we'll do one. Mikey, thank you for support and generosity. Thank you so much. Now, my cat's name is Karen. Has been a member for 7 months. Says, I'm high, and I just want to tell you how much I love you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks. Let's see here. Heschick says 7 3/4 skull with 8.5-inch hair. No, but I know because I bought one of those. Oh God, I wish I find it right now. But Varus when they were selling the they sell some they sell like a felt like the field cap. They sell like a Wehrmacht field cap, but they do it in the Finnish MO5 pattern. And they only do it in metric, so I had to measure my head circumference. And it's like fucking 63 centimeters. I was like, holy shit, that's big. And it barely sits on my head right. And I need to have a haircut for it really to sit right. So, a little rough there, Chad. A little rough there. Are we gonna do locals tonight? Of course we are. Yes, we are. We are doing locals tonight. I don't have court tomorrow, so we're gonna do locals tonight. 12 inches is about 31 centimeters. Yeah, I mean, like when I did ROTC my freshman year of college, like they had to like request through the Army supply chain a helmet that would fit my head. Because I couldn't wear the other ones. I wore all the other ones that just sat on my head. So can we do Jackbox tonight? Yeah, we will. We will. Okay, let's see here. Coke Fairy says they are up a mountain or in a plane just for legal purposes. I must have missed the joke. Oh, Kat says, can you start over? I literally woke up 30 minutes ago. Well, no, just watch it. Catch up fast. Go at like 3 times speed. Let's see. Debbie O is saying for $10. Thank you, Debbie. If they were prosecuting in D.C., I'd say 0 chance of prison. Florida, on the other hand, huge chance. Yeah, but that stuff's all gonna happen in D.C. because that's where it happened, or the Eastern District of Virginia. Remember, that's where all that stuff is gonna get filed. Ultimately. And that's like I said, guys, they might escape man's justice, but they will not escape God's justice. And hopefully they don't escape man's justice, but I can't promise you that. I can't promise you that at all. So, yeah. When I was young, my poor mama had to order a special Tard helmet. Yeah. Yeah, they did. Oh, yeah, they did. But they made sure to take care of me. It was like taping a bucket on my head. That's how big I was. All right, guys, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving here. We got some more stuff to get into. Let me see where we are here. I got to close some shit out. Okay, this one will piss you off. This one's going to piss you off, guys. This is something we covered a while back, and it was on its face, it sounds pretty based. A guy, Charles Feiner, shot a mugger, and this occurred out in Queens, New York. The video is pretty convincing, and it sounds like the old guy was in fear of his life. Charles Feiner was like 67 years old, and he was getting harassed by this really aggressive guy coming after him. So, in the middle of it, he pulls out his gun and kills the guy. Charles Feiner gets charged not with murder, but the illegal possession of firearms. And it wasn't just the gun he used to commit the killing with in self-defense, but he had a bunch of guns in his home. A bunch of them. And let's get to just showing you guys the actual video of what happened here. Because the video is pretty,
This is yet another controversial case of
you don't feel bad for the guy who gets killed here.
Prosecutors say that.
So here we go. Here's the video of what's happening.
Morning smoke for Charles Feiner leading to a deadly encounter outside his Kew Gardens apartment building. In exclusive surveillance video, you can see the 65-year-old.
You can tell who's who, guys. It's very easy to tell who's who in this. I think it's very clear what's going on here. So here you go.
Backing up as he's aggressively approached by Cody Gonzalez. Moments later, off camera, police say Feiner pulls his revolver, shooting the 32-year-old multiple times, killing him.
Every case is complicated, but yes, this is a complicated case.
Yes, and there's the cunt DA for Queens. Remember, Queens is its own county. So what happened to him? Well, he didn't get prosecuted for murder, but he's still going to prison. Why? Well, he's going to prison because of New York's gun laws. And yes, the citizen who saved himself from a mugger is going to prison because of the gun laws in New York and how shitty they are. So he's going to prison because he's using an unlicensed handgun. Charles Feiner pled guilty to 1 count of criminal weapons possession in a deal to end his case more than 2 years old. And the district attorney's office agreed not to prosecute him for killing after he told the cops he defended himself because they agreed. Yeah, it probably looked like a knife, but it only was a pen. But you know what? No, fuck him anyway, because you know what they're going to do? They raided his house because they got a search warrant because he used a gun. And guess what? Guess what happened? I don't care, New York Post. I don't want to see these shitty fucking ads. Just stop. God, I hate this. I have like 2 ad blocks and it's still showing gay ads. But whatever. But they found other things in there, including rifles and other guns. And he took a plea deal where he faced up to 25 years in prison for charges that were easy to prove. Are they registered or not? Nope. Guilty. So, yeah, he's now facing 4 years. He's agreeing to a 4-year sentence. So, but yeah, after his arrest, near his house, he told the cops he'd been carrying the gun to protect himself. And, yeah, uBlock Origin, I'll work on that. I said, are you using Brave? No, because none of this shit works with Chrome, or none of that works with Brave, I'm pretty sure. So, oh. Yes, this guy should get a pat on the back and a beer. He should get a steak dinner from the government. Anyways, this is Charles and his attorney. And yeah, and Cody Gonzalez had 15 arrests back to 2004. And yeah. But he's going to get 4 years of prison. He's agreeing to a 4-year sentence. On January 14th, he's going to go to prison for 4 years at 67 years old. That can kill him. And there's a good chance it will kill him. Prison is rough on anybody. When you're 67, that's going to be really rough. Be 71 when he gets out. So, at least the judge wasn't a complete piece of shit and released him. So he's going to be able to go and spend Christmas with his family. So, but still. It's total bullshit. But that's what's going to happen here. And this man is going to prison for protecting himself. And that's the sad part. Had he not done this, nobody would have ever known he probably had a gun. But it's I mean, there's nothing else to say, guys. There's nothing else to say. It just, it's a shame. It's a fucking shame for this guy. Has Bronca covered this one? I don't know. But clearly, even the prosecutor admitted and has acknowledged This guy acted in self-defense because they are charging him with murder. Because look at that. We watched that video. You guys, you saw that. That guy is in fear of his life. This crazy man keeps coming after him. But because his gun was not registered, well, he's a bad man. He's got to go to prison. Where's the fucking justice in this world, guys? Where's the justice in this world? There's none. There's none. Just like Aaron Spencer, this guy should be guilty of being based. But what are you going to do, chat? What are you going to do? So he did it with a cigarette in his mouth, too. I know. That's the even better part. He's just like, stay away. And then he sat there and was probably like, then he went, probably. Yeah, my cat's name is Karen says, yeah, you can't carry a gun in New York City. Pretty much. Pretty much. So, sadly. We'll free him during the Great Boogaloo. Yeah, I hope so. I hope something happens where there's some sort of great sea change, which will help him, but probably not. Probably not. Probably not. All right, now, guys, moving on from here, Jack Doherty. If you guys know who Jack Doherty is. This is Jack Doherty's the YouTuber. He's famous for going around and
yeah, you guys keep talking.
He's famous for going around causing fucking problems, and he is famous for using a security guard where he'll bump into people and cause arguments and scuffles in public, and has his bouncer get in the way to block people. Well, this is him, just as an example of him acting like a little bitch. Yes, but he's basically a nuisance streamer. He's been smart enough not to fuck around outside the country, but he has been fucking around here in America. And this is just him, for example, where he goes on here. This is him, for example.
No, that's why.
Okay. Keep running your mouth. Come back if you're ready to do that. I want you not to come back here. Okay? Come on. I got my camera on too.
See, he wants me to talk so badly, bro. It's crazy. He's mad that a bunch of kids are trying to have some fun.
Come back. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Keep walking.
They're escalating as we're just walking away. It's crazy. Bro, they are so mad. Like,
well, you're not walking. You're standing around, you fucking retard.
what did we even do, bro? We didn't do anything to deserve that reaction. Yeah, someone said I pay way too much in taxes to be treated. Yeah, facts. Yeah, you guys keep talking.
So that's Jack Doherty. So what happened to him? Well, he was out jerking around in the middle of the street in Miami Beach, and this is going to be silent for part of it, but it kind of gives you the whole view from the police as they come around the car. So it's 3:00 in the morning, and he's out there screwing around in the street, and here's where the cops come up to him. So you guys can see Jack Doherty. He's right there.
Hey, yo, you don't want to go neither. Back up. I'm just saying I got it. Back up. Don't worry about it. Back up. Back up. You're getting stupid, bro.
Go to the sidewalk. Go to the sidewalk now. Go to the sidewalk now. You want to go with him? Go to the sidewalk now. Okay. Now.
So that big black guy is his bouncer, and that bouncer, if you guys want to see, he basically, this is what the shit Jack Doherty does right here. This is him acting like an asshole.
Go. Where we at? What? Little pop, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, little pop? Yeah.
Now that has resulted in Jack Doherty getting his ass whipped once or twice. There are other things that are going on here. Amon Reds is saying, what initiated the arrest? Well, he's out in the middle of the street and the cops are telling him, get the fuck out of the road. And he starts mouthing off and they arrest him from there. So that's initially where this starts, is he's out on the road filming and they're like, get the fuck out the street. And he won't get out of the street. And I'm trying to find there's a couple of clips here where and I'm trying to find the best one of it. Jack is like, he grabs his phone, he goes, hold on here. And he's trying to shill for stake, like the gambling website. And right as he does it, the cops arrest him. And they're like, we're done fucking around. We're done fucking around. So here we go. Here is the video of this is him showing up outside of this is him showing up to kind of like, this is him streaming and fucking around. And here is what he starts doing. They told him to leave. And he does his little ad here. You got to do the live reads though. I will say that much.
What? All right, after I hit this hand.
I'm about to go to jail.
Huh?
Cops say filming content is not an excuse to hold.
So they told him to get the fuck out of the street, and now it's like, no. And you can see his bodyguard here tries to fucking get involved again. And the cops are very nice that they don't fucking put him down. And they don't bother arresting him. But they could have. And this guy, yeah. So this is the issue here. Yeah, he's got a contractual obligation. Yes, he does. So the cops have already told you to leave. You're standing in the street, acting like a jackwagon. Well, yeah, they're gonna arrest you. Like, no shit, man. Like, did you not think this was gonna happen? So as this goes on from here, there's some more that there's some more here. So that this is from his because he was live streaming as this happened. And I love all these comments are like, salute the officers. But anyways, here you go. This is what happened to this is what happens to Jack here.
I got him. Hey, yo, you don't want to go neither. Back up. I'm just saying I got it. Back up. Don't worry about it. Back up. Yo, back up. Yo.
Chill. Go to the sidewalk now. Go to the sidewalk now. You want to go with him?
You want to be fucking funny.
Go to the sidewalk now.
You want to be funny. You say to get on the street, go on the fucking street. I know who the fuck you think you are, bro. No, you're fucking not. He was trying after I fucking do this. Who the fuck are you, bro?
I was trying to walk up the street.
Doesn't matter, bro. All you have to do was get in the fucking sidewalk. That's it. You want to be fucking funny. That's it, bro.
3JD. You're great. Everything gotta be some goddamn content, man.
And that is funny. His bouncer is like, man, everything's got to be fucking content. Everything's got to be content. I'm sure that guys like, I don't get paid enough for this shit. But yeah. The bodyguard showed open hands and didn't touch the officers. The bodyguard's lucky they didn't feel like getting, he should have been backing up, but he was trying to see if he could defuse it, saying, no, I'll take care of it. He's lucky they didn't arrest him right fucking there. So anyway, he's there, and let's watch the rest of this. They're starting to pat him down, and this becomes important, guys.
What? No.
So that's where he gets arrested right there. As this keeps going, though, this is the view of I think this. Hold on, which one's this? Yeah. Okay. No, hold on. This is the same one. I'm trying to. There's so many of these fucking things at once for this little retard and his buddies. As they're patting him down, they found, well, you know, you're like, oh, he got shot. So what happened to him? Well, as they're patting him down, they charge him with possessing amphetamines and marijuana and resisting arrest without violence. So what is the amphetamines? Well, they found some Adderall on him. And it was a piece of an Adderall pill in his pocket, which when you're doing retarded stuff, don't fuck around with the cops. Like, it's pretty obvious. Don't do that. Don't do that shit. But it makes it, you know, that's what happens. Like, when you're fucking around and you've got shit you're not supposed to have on you, well, there you go, man. Like, they're going to catch you, and that's going to be it. That's going to be it, man. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do it. I have to turn this bond prevent from streaming. That would be a First Amendment violation, in my opinion. So, no, you can't do it. Adam says, why are you covering this? I think it's important to see he's fucked around, and then he you know, just wouldn't take no for an answer. He didn't leave while the getting was good. And that's the thing here. He didn't leave while the getting was good. And he was so wrapped up in trying to get content, and he didn't want to be told no. He forgot he had fucking drugs on him. And he wasn't thinking, oh my God, he thinks it's just Adderall. Well, in many states, that's an amphetamine. That's possession of a controlled substance. That can be a felony in many states. So once again, this is where just thinking about what you're doing, you know, you turned what could have been no arrest, no charges. Had he just walked away, they wouldn't have fucking arrested him. He wouldn't have any charges. He wouldn't be facing a felony if he had just walked away. But no, he couldn't. He couldn't be told what to do. Now he's got a felony. Now, what's going to happen ultimately? He's probably going to get some sort of plea deal. And regardless of what's going on here, this is his like first time really facing an arrest. He'll get some sort of probation and like some sort of drug treatment thing. And he'll be back out on the street being a little shithead before you know it. So that's ultimately what's going to happen to Jack. Like, let's not act like that's not going to happen to him here. So like we know that. We know that. And you guys can see like he doesn't really give a shit here about what's going on. This is him. This is him like right afterwards. And here's him acting like
just got out of jail.
Bag.
You got NBC News out here waiting for me, but I'm free after 24 hours. I'm a free man, baby. Let's go, guys. I just got out of jail.
So yeah. Oh shit, you guys need to see that one. Sorry, you need to see this one. Here you go.
You got NBC News out here waiting for me, but I'm free after 24 hours. I'm a free man, baby. Let's go, guys. I just got out of jail.
So, there you go. Like he's, nothing's really gonna happen to him. I know you guys are like hoping he goes, he's not going to prison for 20 years. Like nothing's really gonna happen there, but happens like that. Although I will say it's very funny. His idea of being cool is he's hanging out with fucking Tekashi 6ix9ine. And it's like he's hanging out with a guy who's a fucking rat. Remember, 6ix9ine fucking snitched everybody out. And Jack Doherty's going to hang out with a fucking rat. Fucking snitch ass rat. A job well done says no script. I mean, maybe he has a prescription. I don't know. But when you have a broken off piece of a pill in your pocket, the cops aren't going to believe you that you have a prescription. If you have a prescription, you keep it in your prescription bottle. The idea you're just carrying around random Adderall pills in your pocket, you're not going to convince the cops. Now, maybe he has one and his attorney's going to take care of that. But for right now, yeah, nobody at the scene is going to believe that. So you don't act like a retard like that. Yeah, Stephen Cooper is correct. Don't commit a misdemeanor while you're also committing a felony. That's the big thing here. Like if you're committing a felony, don't unnecessarily make contact with law enforcement. The idea that as you're committing a felony, you're actively choosing to I want to talk to the police for some reason is really fucking stupid. Yeah, don't commit a misdemeanor while you're committing a felony. Very good advice, Stephen. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Brittany says, I think he has a script. Well, it's going to be on him to show it, but in the meantime, it's a valid arrest. Because you don't carry him around your pocket like that. Like, that's just stupid. Turboy says, at least you are consistent. You hate cops and you love the cops. I mean, I don't hate what am I supposed to say? Like, he's standing in the road. Like, you have to follow the law. Like, they didn't just pick on him. They gave him multiple chances to leave. And they probably gave him a lot more leeway than a lot of other police departments would have. He had multiple chances to walk away. So I give the cops credit for doing that. But the idea that, you can't commit any fucking crime at all, well, that's just retarded. Like, the cops gave you an out. Fucking take it and walk away. Don't act like a complete retard. Don't act like a complete retard about it. And then say, oh my God, you're like Doherty. It's like, no. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Jack's a nice boy. He didn't do nothing wrong. Like, no, he had a chance to walk away. Those cops did him a solid and he shit on him. So. Yeah, he snitched out guys who literally kidnapped him, Sean. It's not that cut and dried. Well, maybe, but still. You don't he snitched to save his own ass like that. So. Yeah, he's also a PDF. Well, that too, yeah. The Island Boys are snitches too, yeah. Is Tekashi wearing a purse? Yes. My cat's name is Karen says if he had a script, he could tell him his pharmacy and they'll call. No, they don't. Not on the side of the road. They're not wasting time with that. Especially after this where he started acting like an asshole to him. No. They're going to arrest him and let him figure it out in court. If he had not been acting like a dickhead, I bet they probably would have. But at the end of the day, they're just going to be like, no, nobody, I don't believe you. And he doesn't have to believe you. If you have medications, you should carry them in the prescribed, the issued containers. Because guess what? If you're carrying Adderall around in a bottle that says, hey, Karen's allowed to have Adderall, here's how much she has, the cops are looking at it and go, okay, that makes sense. But when you're just free, they collecting lint in your pocket, and you're already pissing off the cops, they're not going to listen to you. Not going to listen to you. How much is the attorney charge of bringing the script bottle to court? Don't know. But it's, he could afford it. But I bet it's a couple $1,000s. So. Wasn't 69 confirmed to be a blow-up doll in prison? He probably was. Maddie says, say your RX comes in huge bottles. How do you carry what you need without a backpack for it? I mean, you might want to talk to your doctor about that. But the idea, this is where, once again, you have to exercise some basic thought of, that's where you sit down as a person and you think, I had a client once like this. The guy's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And I said, did you ask your doctor how to handle this problem? And he goes, well, no. So instead, what did this guy do? He carried around a bunch of fucking sandwich baggies with fucking pills in them. Guess what he looks like? He looks like a fucking drug dealer. So he got arrested and his shit was taken and we had to go deal with the felony charges. We were able to show he had all these pills and he did have a means of carrying them around. But this is where you have to think ahead a little bit. How do I make sure I don't look like a fucking criminal? Because just saying, oh, they're not bad. No cop's going to believe you. We were able to take care of that. We were able to get his doctor. We were able to get proof of his prescriptions. You file that shit under seal. You filed it and you show it to the prosecutor. You're like, look, we'll use the pill dividers and shit like that. Designated pill containers. And if we can't get one from his doctor showing that he's allowed to have a little bit in this one, then we start using like the Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday things. And he's got to work that out or carry him in a way that looks legitimate. But just carrying a couple of Ziploc baggies full of pills, you have to, there's a little bit on you here. It should be on you, but guess what? You have a bit of an obligation. You may not like that, but it is what it is. It's not fair that the gazelle has to make sure the crocodile doesn't fucking eat it. But guess what? No one else is going to watch the gazelle's ass. No one's going to care for your ass either. You have to help mitigate your own risk a little bit. So, something to think about. Something to think about there. So. Caitlin says Caitlin says that was illegal narcotics. Maybe. We don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's got a script. But in the meantime, you've already jerked the cops around. They're finding half an Adderall pill in your pocket. They're not going to believe. Do you think they're going to listen to you? No, they ain't going to fucking spend 5 minutes listening to you. If he wasn't a dickhead, they wouldn't have searched him. Well, no, if he wasn't, well, no, that's not true because you are searched incident to arrest. You are always searched upon arrest. And before you're put in a car, you're going to get searched. And before you enter the jail, you're going to get searched. So no, if he wasn't a dickhead, he wouldn't have been arrested. And if he didn't get arrested, he doesn't get searched. So we can rewind that tape all the way back to if he had just gone like this, boop, 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 and walked away, no problems. No problems. So. Adderall is an amphetamine. Yes, it's an amphetamine. It's not meth, but it is an amphetamine. Yeah, the pharmacy could give you labeled bottles, but if your pharmacy won't, there's ways to do that. There are pill containers that give you some semblance of legitimacy. But like I said, the guy I was dealing with, my client, just had him in fucking Ziploc baggies. And I'm like, bro. And he's like, oh, I didn't think about what those old people use. And it's like, yeah, we have to proactively plan a little bit. We have to proactively plan. Well, Chinny says don't get searched. So that's not actually something you can control. Because let's say the cops arrest you illegally. And they search you illegally. Let's say they search you illegally and they haven't arrested you yet. There's nothing to stop that from happening. You cannot stop the police from acting in an illegal manner. You're not going to be able to. So you know what? Yeah, maybe you beat the drug charges because the search was illegal. But in the meantime, you've been arrested. You got booked. You had to spend a day or two in jail. You're now paying for an attorney. You now have an arrest on your record. You might lose your job. Like all kinds of shit. So just saying don't have bad things happen. That's like saying don't get in a car accident. You're not 100% in control of the situation. If a crooked cop wants to violate your rights, there's nothing you can do to prevent that from happening. It's just like driving down the road. You're only in control of your car. Like, you're not in control of everybody else, so you could still get in an accident. So, just saying that. Just saying that. So, very upset about the misused sandwich bags. Well, yes, that... God. Oh, my God. How could that hurt so much? Oh, yes, very cack. Or wait. Or ho. Karen says you could peel the label off a bottle and put it on a smaller bottle or put it in your wallet. I would not recommend fucking around with the labels because now you look like a drug addict. Because what a drug addict, like addicts will do shit like that. They'll fuck around with your pill bottles and they'll fuck around with the labels. I would not recommend doing that. There's other ways. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor, talk to your pharmacist. They will have suggestions and ideas because they've generally probably come across this issue for you. And they'll know what works in your state. But I would not recommend just peeling labels off bottles. That's not a good idea. Dark side pill container, yes. Crispy's Revenge says, either leave your pills at home or carry the bottle. I mean, I've gotten some medications before where the fucking bottle was like a fleshlight size. Like, it's fucking huge. Like, there are some pill, like, depending on what you're taking at the time, there are some, hold on here, I gotta grab the train whistle, but, like, there are some pill, but, like, depending on what you're on, like, at a time, you can get a pill bottle like this big, maybe even a little, like, girthier. Are you gonna haul that fucker around all day? Maybe you're on some sort of chronic issue where you have a couple of medications at a time. You know, but there are reasons why you would have a lot of pills, and you might have a bunch of pills in big bottles. So, yeah. I've got a script for 30 pills of the size of the peas and the peas the size of a small soda can. Yeah, that happens too. That happens too. Yeah, and yeah, like I'm saying, talk to your doctor, talk to your pharmacist, and they'll help you figure it out. They've all dealt with this before. Accountant Steve for $5 says, I was tired, Sean. Boss, I was tired. Can I get some of that fried okra? Says, in that cornbread for your missus? Fannie Willis, Judge Hannah Dugan, how long to wait for justice? I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, when it's time to form your right-wing death squads, I'll tell you when it's time. It's not yet, though. Has rule of law failed and we will go Wild West because it's too slow? Like I said, we're very quickly getting into the WROL territory of without rule of law. Like I said, it's not time to form your Serbian paramilitary groups yet, but when it's time, you'll know. And then you can go settle all the scores you want. Settle all your scores. The pocket mice look for your Adderalls. That's so funny. That's so funny. Yes, and that's what you call John Bryan when you get the body cam of your illegal arrest. Yes, you call the civil rights lawyer. Randy Neutral Robinson. Hey, Randy. Says, my Crim Pro midterm went excellent. Awesome. Good job, man. I'm happy to hear that. I didn't know if you were last night, if you were on at that point. But wish you good luck, man. Good to hear. Good to hear. The lefties in my class suffered. Well, there you go. I hope they suffer. So. Aaron Hack says, hey, blog, I hope all is well. It is now. Day 2 of jury deliberations in the Connor Grubb case. That is one we're going to watch from the beginning. I've got those down. I'm downloading those right now and saving them. We are going to watch that starting next week. A couple days in and get to Thanksgiving with it. Because then we can skip all the stuff. But we're going to watch that. And guys, remember, Connor Grubb, he is the police officer in Columbus where the pregnant black woman was stealing liquor from Kroger, and she tried to run them over, and they shot her. I think that was kind of like a sketchy use of force, so I'm not against them being charged. And we are going to watch that one because it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So, you guys are saying based. Thank you. Well, yeah. But anyways, good to see you, Aaron. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice time while you were gone. Hope while you were tubing and whatever else it is you were doing out your way. But hope you've been well. Good to see you. Thank you for this. Thank you for the $10 as well. But yes, we are going to do Connor Grubb. Actually, starting Monday would be my goal. Or if we have to, Sunday. I'm not sure yet. So that is the game plan, at least. That's the game plan. Yeah, a bit of tubing. All right, guys. So that's Jack Doherty. Once again, if you're doing retarded shit, don't have a felony in your pocket. Don't have a felony in your pocket. And moving on to other things here, chat. Glock. Glock. Remember, guys, Glock came out with the V series, and Oh. Well, Glock came out with the Glock series of pistols, the V series of pistols, to address the issues of people putting switchies on them. Well, that didn't go as planned because we're already, remember, Glock has now been sued by the city of Chicago, Seattle, and other cities, including the state of California. The state of California passed the Glock ban, basically. Any guns that are automatically or readily convertible, well, they're now banned in California to be sale. Well, remember, why? Because people were making switchies for the Glocks. And remember.
Switchy. No talk. No cap. No talk.
No cap indeed, chat. No cap indeed. Well, things have happened, guys. Things have happened. And good job out there to the autism and the gun community, because that's a Glock 19V. And look at what's on the back of it. Notice, YouTube, it's not a full gun, it's a slide. Look at that. It's got a switchie on it. That's right. That's right. It's got a switchie, chat. So you can still just go ahead and burr it to your heart's content. Don't worry, chat. Those kids in Chicago are going to be fine. Those kids in Chicago are going to be fine. They got more switchies. And you can see here, here's how they set the switchie up. Just a little tweak. A little tweak. Let them modify the switchies. So there you go. There you go, chat. Yes. Oh, Ag says, that's right, Mr. Martin. Yes. Diddy saying, I need some schematics shared on locals. I don't know yet, but they're floating around the internet. People have already cracked the code on the Glock V series. So funny. So funny. Yes. Yes, the bird is back on the menu, chat. The bird is back on the menu. And there are people out there running them, and they run exactly fine. You know, in chat, here's, I can't show it, but we'll do this here.
Really? Why did they do this?
So California banned them because they wanted to make it so people couldn't readily convert it to a machine gun.
Anyways, here you go.
Anyways.
There you go. See? You can just hear it. You can shoot it. So we got to keep airing this bitch out in 2026. Yep. Bert. Oh. Very true, Chad. Very true. Let me see here. Did I miss? Ag Biochemist says the Karen Reed sidebars are coming out. Yes. The sidebar, the transcripts and the sidebars are being released, chat. Judge Canoni's released them. So those will be fun to go through. As long as they don't deal with jurors, they're going to be released. Debbie O for $5. Debbie, thank you again. Working our way through that delicious WSU cheese. Says PSA, the weapons and munitions sales tax holiday in Florida is through the end of the year. Yes, it's very based in the state of Florida. There is a sales tax holiday on weapons and ammunition in the state of Florida. So stock up down there in the Gunshine State. Stock up. VTubing enthusiast for $5 says, I collect VTuber plushies, which is an Aryan as fuck hobby. I want a potentially criminal Sean plushie to go in my collection. Can you make that happen? I am working on that. I need to get back in touch with the people I was working with. It's kind of like sometimes they're not always fast. Sometimes I'm not always fast getting back to them. But yes, I'm working with some people somewhere in China to work on this. So we're working on it, chat. We're working on it. The biggest thing right now is the hair. The hair is kind of like the stopping point because, like, they have the hair right now. It looks like I'm wearing a gray swimming cap. And it's like, no, we need to add some volume to the hair. We're working that out. We're working that out, though. I can tell you. I can tell you for sure. Lucky Lime says drum mag. You can't see it. You're not allowed to see it because YouTube will kill us. And Lucky Lime says drum mags. Yeah. They make drum mags for Glocks. You didn't know that, bro? Yes. Yes. Yeah, they look like the trommel mags that the old like the Luger, the snail mags that would go in the bottom of the Luger, the trommel mags, so as they called them in the Deutsch, the trommel mags. They make those for Glocks, and they're fucking they're heavy as shit, but they're cool. So when you can't have when an extendo isn't enough, when an extendo isn't enough, you use the drum. So, Debbie O says it's also fishing equipment. Oh, good. Well, there you go, chat. I'll have to tell my dad so we can get some more fishing stuff. He probably already knows that fishing stuff there. Yes, the snail mags. Yep. They make drum mags for everything. Yes, they do now. Why does it include OnlyFans? I don't know. There's no update there. All right, chat. We're going to keep moving here. We're going to keep moving, though. There's more stuff to cover. But yes, the Glocks are back in the game, chat. We will bird our way to freedom. Okay. Oh, thank God. Thank God, chat. Oh, my God here, guys. Real quick. Woo, buddy. We got some good news, chat. The Ryan Mullally stream from last night, they've reviewed it, and they finally determined the good SARS running YouTube said it doesn't violate community guidelines. Thank you. Thank you so much, SAR. Thank you so much. De Schwarzgeist. So speaking of Bert, have you seen the guy with the Beretta 92 forced reset trigger? Yes, I have. That dude is cool. And the neatest cool part about his FRT is how much of it looks like he's just got one piece that he drops in to an already, his Beretta. Like he didn't do a lot of modification to it, which is cool. Yes, they did the needful. Yes, they did. They did the needful. Okay, Steve says, thanks for your answer. New question. I'm behind on Sean lore. The 3-frame posters in the background. What did they say, or is a stream that explains them? I got these during my birthday. I think I did this on my birthday show. These are from EDW Raptor and somebody else. I don't know, like a couple people put this together, helping frame them and everything. But those are posters from the Rhodesian police force. And these are, from what I understand these are originals. These are originals, and they are warning posters that they put out to put out there for people. And they are things like this. Here's a good example of one of them. And it says, that's the one I don't have, but hold on here. Actually, I need to back up here. You could find them at Fire Force Ventures. They're pretty based. But here's an example of one. And this is for the this is like in a warning poster for the British to give out to their soldiers. And it talks about, avoid, don't get killed for comfort. So when you're out patrolling in the bush, hunting down communist guerrillas, avoid a hasty and careless return to base at dusk. Stay the night out in the woods. Don't rush back to base because you'll get ambushed. Eliminate all unnecessary movements at dusk so you don't shoot each other. Contact at this time hinders backup fire forces. So if you're moving around, your buddies might think you're the bad guys. It also hinders the casualty evacuations and the anybody responding, the QRFs. Don't move around. Don't trade your life for extra comfort. And I say at night, avoid sound and light. Don't smoke. It's deadly. And this is for all the police out there. And they put these up around bases to make sure, keep in mind, we're in a war. We're in a war. So that's what those talk about. And it talks about, having irregular patterns of movement. And the other ones just tell you about how not to get caught, how not to get ambushed. So they're out there. So They're so fucking cool. They're so fucking cool. Never relax. Not in Rhodesia, man. That was truly a board. Like, there was no front, man. That shit was insane. So, Erica helped? Yes. Okay. Can you talk about Sean Ryan giving out the new SIG? I mean, good for him. I'd love to go on the show and get a free fucking pistol. Sean Ryan, I'll come on and talk. I think it was sad, though. I think it's bullshit he gave one to Gavin Newsom. Too bad Gavin Newsom didn't get arrested with it, but yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, there you go. There you go. I mean, it's base. He's handing them out. I wish I got one. So, I mean, not much more to say about it. At least it's not the SIG that kills people, like, unintentionally. All right, guys. So, moving on from there, Diddy. Yes, guys, Sean Puffy Combs and P. Diddy I Dalio. Sean Ryan's really tall right now. He's a short king like me, from what I understand. Anyways, Diddy is now he's facing discipline for some shit that he committed in jail. One of the things he did apparently is allegedly he committed a three-way call. And guys, this is actually something that happens a lot in jails. Three-way call will be like where guys in jail calls his girlfriend, and then they from there then talk to someone else. And that's a way of getting around. They try to do it as a way of getting around restricted phone issues. Because when you call out of the jail, there's a list of who you call. So if you just happen to look at the call logs, you'll see, oh, he called his girlfriend a bunch. You won't look into it. But the systems try to notice when there's another phone involved. And they flag that and say, hey, man, they talked to someone else. You should listen to it. But three-way calling is a very common thing. Three-ways are allowed in jail, yes. But that's why they do this. That's why they do this. That's why they do it. Tim says, go over the Air Force guy who died. We already did that. I'm pretty sure we already did that. So here is the thing with this. So we don't know exactly what happened. They're claiming Diddy's people are claiming it was an attorney-client privilege. Sometimes that can happen, but we'll find out. We don't know for sure yet. Diddy also, he could face discipline for that. He could lose phone privileges. You can also get punished by your date of getting out can get pushed back at times, depending on what's going on. If you were set to get early release, you can lose early release. But anyways, he's facing a loss of phone privileges for making a three-way call. There's other things that have happened to him, though. And TMZ reported it. He was allegedly caught drinking homemade alcohol, which is a big fucking problem. You're not allowed to do that, especially when you're supposed to be in the drug and alcohol treatment program. You know, your sobriety and self-discipline are big problems at that point. And that could get you all kinds of issues. That can get you all kinds of problems. So Diddy needs to fucking watch himself. He needs to watch himself. And from here, things are already mounting. Diddy is also facing charges out of LA, possibly. He's being investigated. He's being investigated by the LA County Sheriff's Department for sexual battery claims. So what are they claiming, has happened here? Well, the allegation itself was made in Florida, but they're claiming a male publicist and producer said he was invited to a photo shoot in 2020 about an upcoming project. And the accuser says at the shoot, Diddy began masturbating under his shirt while he was watching porn and then exposed himself and told the accuser to assist. They say the producer did not respond to Diddy, who continued before he threw the shirt at him. And the guy didn't tell anybody about this out of embarrassment. Also, I'm not going to lie. If he ran around telling people, hey, Diddy was whacking off on a shirt and threw it at me, I don't think anybody's going to believe you at that point. So, but he says other stuff happened here. And in 2021, he was at Santa Monica, and then 2 men at the house grabbed him, threw something over his head, and took him into a room where Diddy berated him and called him a snitch. And they say that the new sexual battery complaint is redacted. But yeah, it's a serious thing here. It's a serious thing here. And they say Diddy's team has repeatedly stated he can't address every allegation. Well, yeah, but remember, this happened last year. So if the allegation was made, previously, there might be time. Maybe there's a statute of limitations issue. Not likely, though. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But yeah, Diddy might have more charges pending, and these are just going to start building and building and building and building and building. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Not good, chat. Not good. Not good. Don't make it hard on yourselves, chat. Don't make it hard on yourself. All right, guys, we're on the last story tonight. We are on the last story. And this one here, they make it sound worse than what it is. And guys, I'm not going to be able to get to the lady, the Congresswoman who stole the FEMA funds. She's got like a 40-page indictment. She's going to require her own night. That would be a good Saturday show before the F1 race, actually. But this thing here, when you initially read the story, you're like, this judge got fired for being Elvis. Now read this title. Read this title. This doesn't sound too bad, really. Is he in trouble for dressing up like Elvis on the bench? Like, look, there. When I first saw this, I'm like, that doesn't sound like that big a fucking deal. That doesn't sound like that big a fucking deal, does it? Not really. Not really. Yeah, I mean, it's Halloween. Like, would I think it's kind of cringe if a judge did that? Yeah, but I kind of get it. Especially if it's not a trial. If it's like a boring docket day where nothing serious is going to happen. Okay, great. But let's say it's like a serious, like some guy's coming in to plea out a murder or a rape. Okay, that would be a bit much. This would not be professional. But if he's just conducting some pre-trials and nothing serious happening, I mean, it's not that bad a deal. And yeah, Keopatha's like, if he carried out entirely in character, I'd allow it. But here's the thing. This isn't it. This isn't why he's in trouble. I mean, this is part of it, but this isn't the big thing here. But anyways, this is a judge. His name's Matthew Thornhill. He's an older judge. He's going to retire. And he's facing a suspension, which from then he will then keep the bench for another 18 months, and then he will retire so he can get his retirement. Which, when you read about what all happens here, you're like, well, wait. So he's going to retire and promise never to seek re-election after an 18-month stint, and he gets a 6-month suspension. And then he's going to be allowed to retire 20 years of service. Well, like, how bad was this? It must not have been that bad if you're letting him come back. Because that way he can get his full retirement. You're like, then what's the fucking problem here? What's the problem here? Well, let's get to the problem, because what he does here, yeah, this is not good. This is not good stuff. What actually happens is not acceptable. And it's not just the Elvis thing. There's a lot worse stuff in here. So this is before the Commission on Retirement, Removal, and Discipline. This is for judges, Judicial Commission. And it's filed with the Supreme Court of Missouri. So it's about the Honorable Matthew Thornhill. And what are they doing here? So here are the counts. So the respondent engaged in a course of conduct in which he failed to maintain order and decorum in the court, in his chambers, and in the courthouse, and failed to further maintain the dignity appropriate of judicial office in one or more of the following ways. And this is where it becomes an issue. He would routinely wear an Elvis Presley wig on or about October 31st in the courtroom, in his chambers, or in the courthouse while conducting court business. Okay, well, one thing, but notice we've got 10 pages, which means there's a lot more to what he did. And this is where this is starting, like this right here, guys. I'm like, who cares about that one? But it's right here where we start. This is where we I think this is kind of problematic here. Like, this is really weird. On occasion, he would let litigants or witnesses select how they would be sworn in prior to testifying. There's no real option. The only option when you're swearing in, chat, is do you swear or affirm? Because there are people who don't believe in swearing, and they think that that's a religious issue. There's also some sovereign citizen types out there who think it's not proper to swear on the Bible, but that they will affirm to tell the whole truth, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So that's like the choice. You get a choice, kind of. But here's his options. One option involved playing Elvis Presley music from his phone. What the fuck are you doing, man? What the fuck? What the fuck is this? What is this? Like, this is nonsense right here. This is we are at WTF here. This is TardCon territory, chat. You know, Emily Baker does like the Tard thing, we're like, or the WTF thing. Like, we're at TardCon 1. We're like, what is this, chat? Like, battle stations for autism here. And then it says, on that occasion, he would also refer to Elvis Presley during court proceedings, such as referring to Elvis Presley's date of birth or death when the statements were irrelevant to the proceedings before the court. I mean, if it happens to be like on Elvis's birthday or death date, okay, but yeah. I don't know. This is still fucking weird, though. On occasion, he would refer to lyrics of Elvis Presley songs during court proceedings when the statements were irrelevant. Okay, this one's not a big deal. Not a big deal. This one is, I could see kind of being a big deal. This one is a massive fucking deal. That on occasion, he would play music from his phone during songs while entering the court and or while on the bench doing court business. Okay, yeah, that's a problem. Like, we're not doing the da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. You know, like, no, we're not doing that while you come in. We're not, you don't get played out. They don't play you out to anything, chat. Yeah, is he going to do Jailhouse Rock? That would actually be really bad, yes. All rise for Judge Hound Dog or King Creole. Yeah, guys are saying this guy fucking rules. No, chat, this is awful. This is cringe. This is cringe now. Then it says, and this isn't even the worst shit. So this conduct is violative of Supreme Court Rule 2-1.2, requiring judges to promote confidence in the integrity of the judiciary, avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety. You know, is he able to do his duties competently and diligently? Not from the outside. But yeah, you know, requiring judge to maintain decorum in proceedings and be dignified and courteous with litigants, witnesses, lawyers, court staff, and court officials. So he's this Elvis stuff is a problem. But then it gets on other problems here. So he engaged in a course of conduct in which he was involved in political activity, not related to law, the legal system, or the administration of justice, and was related to his own political campaign from the bench of the courtroom while conducting business of the court. So what would happen here? He would mention his political affiliation, big fucking problem, and or his preferred candidates in contested elections, not just like with attorneys off to the side, but with litigants, so like a defendant in a case, the witnesses and or attorneys while conducting court business from the bench. Now, it's one thing if they're off the record and, you know, I bring you up and I'm like, hey, man, come on up here. Hey, how do you think Bob's going to do in the election coming up? That's one thing. But just doing that on the record, like, no. Absolutely. Like, this is a huge no-no. Huge no-no. On occasions, he would comment from the bench of the courtroom to litigants, witnesses, and or attorneys about where his Thornhill for Judge signs were located. Big problem. That's unacceptable. He would remark from the bench of the courtroom to litigants, witnesses, and or attorneys that they live in Thornhill for Judge country. Once again, no, no, no. like I said, guys, this stuff up here doesn't sound bad. This shit about Elvis, not a big deal. And once again, it sounds like it's only about Elvis, and it's like, no, this is a lot more. This is a lot more. This is not good. But it keeps going. It keeps going. It gets worse, chat. It gets worse. On one occasion, while considering a petition, he asked, which means he's considering some sort of motion or some sort of action there. He asked the petitioner if the union for which the guy worked for has warmed up the Thornhill for judge. Unfucking acceptable. Unfucking acceptable. Unacceptable. On other occasions, he would ask litigants, witnesses, and or attorneys where they lived and if they had seen his campaign signs. Fuck this guy. Like I said, the Elvis stuff is the least of his problems. Is the least of his problems. You know, this is all horribly improper. Improper. You know, you can't allow your political relationships to influence your conduct. You have to avoid bias. You know, you have to maintain order and decorum. You can't engage in political activity, except on behalf of measures to improve the law, the legal system, or the administration of justice. So as a judge, you can say, yes, we need to support the Increase the Amount of Judicial Resources Act or anything like that, but you can't comment on general political issues. This is just, But it keeps going, guys. It keeps going. That in September of 2024, in a juvenile adoption case, he hand-delivered a personal reference to a judge's clerk related to another case. And it says, judge was assigned the case had not sought the correspondence. The correspondence was a character reference for the petitioner for the adoption. To be used in the case to terminate parental rights or approve the adoption of the minor child. Like, that's not how that works. You're either in or out. You're part of the court or you're a civilian. You don't get to do that. You know, he abusing the prestige to advance the private interest of another person. This judge is now vouching for a guy, a husband and wife, trying to take away somebody's kid. So this is what they sent to him. And here is a picture of him on the fucking bench like that, like a goober. And here's his office. This would be so fucking creepy to walk into this guy's office. This is so weird. This is him in the courthouse, like, fucking A, man. Fucking A. And then, yeah, this is him, you know, with his children, the adoption case. God, he writes really bad. He writes really bad. God, look at this guy's hints. Ugh. It's like Russell Greer, motherfucker. And then he puts down the courthouse as his fucking address. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. I mean, if he lost his marbles, why is he being allowed to retire with his benefits? But he probably watched Night Court and chose Elvis instead of Milt. Oh my God. I remember that show as a kid. Yeah, holy shit, he lost his mind. Brittany says pretty common. Not like this, though. Not like this. As a judge, acting like a horse's ass is letting the public know how much disdain the other robe bearers have for the people. He's doing God's work. Oh. Joe Schmo says, how long ago does behavior start? Was he always like this? Probably not, but here's the thing. If it was just him showing up with like an Elvis wig on, like if he came out on the bench to start the day, like the first, like, all right, this court, we're now in session today. And like before he starts the morning session of like a docket or whatever, he came out with like the pompadour wig on, the plastic thing on, and he's like, all right, everybody, well, happy Halloween. And then, like he takes it off and got to work. Nobody would care. But remember, the Elvis stuff isn't the problem. Like he wouldn't have had this big of an issue. He probably would have been reprimanded. But all the other stuff he did, fucking around in the political stuff, screwing around in that adoption, that's the big problem. That's a big problem. That's a big problem here, guys. That's a big problem. The Shugi Show real quick says, no joke. I just had a customer service agent tell me they had done all the needful. Oh no. I know. Oh no. Well, I hope that they actually did everything they could for you. Debbie O says, I don't think Tina Peters is going to survive prison. They put her in solitary again today. Oof. Yeah, the more and more I read about this, the more and more I have questions about what happened to her and why the Secretary of State of Colorado isn't in trouble for releasing the passwords. But yes, but thank you for the super chat, Debbie and Chugi. Thank you both. BobTube for 2 Australian dollar doodles with the Will Stansel profile pic says, was he playing in the ghetto to the black defendants? No, but when Elvis wrote that song, the ghetto is also where white people live. So, that's not just black folk. Distant says he's just trans Presley. Oh God. He sounds like a man that gets things done. Yeah, no. Did he have a stroke or something? One would hope, but I doubt that's the case. Winter Soldier says, what party is he? Presley entity? Kia Panther says, this is Thornhill for Judge Country. As they start attacking some gay black guy, yes. This is Thornhill Country. Very, very funny. Marlene says, how does it get this far before oversight comes into play? Well, it takes a while for them to do the investigations, but also it takes a while for them, like they get a complaint, they have to investigate. And initially, I bet the Elvis shit wasn't that big a deal till they found out he's fucking around like that. Now, there's some times where it happens very quickly. Sometimes judges get away with it for a while because people are very reluctant to want to go narc on a judge, because if you don't kill the judge at that point, like if you narc on him, but it gets investigated and nothing happens, you run the risk of having it exposed you came after that judge. And you're never going to be able to be in front of that judge ever again. You can never risk that with your clients. So there's that as an issue, but people are always reluctant to stand up. It happens in every type of situation. People are scared about it. Like they don't want to make the complaint and then it finds out it's a vote. Like worried about getting in trouble. They're worried about retribution. It's like that for everybody. It's like that for everybody. But it had it just been the Elvis stuff, nobody probably would have cared. A very good question, though. Very good question. P-Dub says, what if litigants in court testify they have more confidence due to the Elvis shtick? That would be funny. But you ought to, when he acts like an autistic man, I have more faith in the system. Brittany says, huge bias. Yes, big bias. And then John Coleman's been a member for 20 months. Thank you, John, for your support. It says judicial. I noticed something, Sean. Never stop noticing, chat. Never stop noticing. Always be closing. Never stop noticing. ABC NSS or NSN. Always be closing. Never stop noticing. Always. Always, chat. Okay. Please be patient. I have autism. No. No. Yes, look for the patterns, chat. Look for the patterns. Okay. Kia Pat says, no lie, his office looked like a room in one of my aunt's house. She was a huge Elvis fan, yeah. Oh, yeah. DSP has had at least one stroke. Yeah, well, there you go. Still watching him play fucking Call of Duty is hilarious. I really would love to see Darkside Phil play like Ready or Not or Squad. And just listen to him scream and cry when he gets shot at like 300 yards. That would be so much fun. I would love to see Phil play Squad just for that to happen. Or somebody calls it a fucking artillery strike of wherever he's standing. That'd be so funny. Oh, yeah. Always be closing in national stock number. Got it. Well, oh. The Black Ops 7 footage is great. I know. He was screaming and about to cry today. It was so good. Yeah, look at all his lag. They're hiding lag in the netcode, chat. It's all there. Oh. So. What about all the chat lobbies? He won't be able to deal with all the slurs. I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of, like, in Squad, they all get, like, really defensive if you drop a slur and you're not paying attention, or you say something mean. Like, if you say the word fag, a lot of them get mad. These Zoomers don't handle it that way. I had the successful DSP lawyer the other day. Nice to see the alternate unit Phil doing great. What are you talking about? I'm confused. I'm confused here, but okay. Robin Hood says, like, imagine having an A-log at your provider. You know, Phil keeps saying that, and somebody kept on claiming they were doing it. But even then, Phil is a lunatic, so. I bet one of those Squad members would recognize Phil. Well, that would be funny, too. That would be so funny. So. Oh, he's saying Ryan looks like DSP. Oh, I thought you meant me, and I'm like, what? No, yes, that's... Most people today wouldn't be able to survive Modern Warfare lobby. Most people today wouldn't be able to survive fucking Counter-Strike global chat. Go on the IRC or Ventrilo, man. Oh, there is some stuff, man. We're yeah. Squad has been Janny to hell after 1.0. I know. And now they're putting in like the fucking gay Ukrainian faction, and it's like, what's gonna be my objective? Run away every time? And not get killed by the barrier troops? Oh, yeah. Vent harassment, my beloved, yes. Counter-Strike, when people could put their own images in games. I know. That was the best part. That was the best part. And just spray paint shit on there. Yep. Oh. They can't handle the chat and War of Rights. I've heard those are hilarious. So have Phil play War of Rights matches. That would be fun too. So the porn sprays. I know those were so funny. All kinds of sprays. So, all right, chat. With that said, we are all wrapped up for tonight. We are going to head over to locals here shortly. Promo code fall 2025. You want to come hang out with us for free? Get 1 month free access. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. We might try a round of Kill It With Fire. We'll do some Jackbox, and yeah, we're gonna hang out and have fun. So, as far as tomorrow night, what we're gonna do, don't know yet. Maybe some Russell Greer. I'm not gonna do some Destiny. That's kind of building up. It's kind of building up. So I'm not sure. But Saturday. I already said we're going to do Saturday. And then Sunday and getting into the weeks. We're at Thanksgiving's this week, guys. This time next week is Thanksgiving. We will do a Thanksgiving show. I promise you that. And even if we're doing the trial, we will do a show the night before Thanksgiving. We'll hang out. And then Thanksgiving night, chat. after you spent all day hating your fucking family, come hang out with me. We'll hang out together and we'll drink some road pops. It'll be great. It'll be great. All your honey. Ew. Ew, brother. What's that? Ew. Fucking honey baked ham on Thanksgiving. Fucking nasty. It's shit like this that makes me want fucking California to fall in the ocean, man. No offense. No offense. But anyways, we're going to hang out that night. It'll be great. So, with that said, chat, I will see you guys. And remember, until next time, thank you for everyone for being here. Nice support tonight. But anyways, chat, thank you for being here. And remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Does not, unless you're Jack Doherty and you're a fucking idiot. So anyways, chat, thank you everybody out on Kick. Thank you everybody on Twitter, all the ghosts, and everybody here on YouTube, guys. Thank you again so much, and have a great night. Why won't the thing work? There we go.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick hated yelled at?